Today on the ropes, I have the 2004 Junior Olympics gold medalist, 2005 Athlete of the Year USA Boxing, same year 2005 bronze medalist World Championship Golden Gloves, 2006 U.S. Championship, 2007 U.S. Championship. Currently the WBC Featherweight Champion and currently the WBC longest reigning champion. 30-1 as a professional, 18 KOs out of Washington, D.C., Gary Russell Jr.
Oh man, gang. What it do?
Now we're gonna take it all the way back to the childhood, the Trinidad neighborhood.
Oh man.
Talk about life growing up in Trinidad.
I mean, I personally didn't grow up in Trinidad, but we had family members that had an older brother that lived in the neighborhood. My father was very known within the neighborhood, you know, and that's where we got a lot of our work from. Yeah, a lot of the youngins we couldn't get spawned, so Trinidad at the time was one of the highest crime rated neighborhoods that they could possibly be in. The highest murder rate, everything was going on in that area. And we couldn't get spawned for our fights, tournaments, and shows. And that's what we would go to. My father would take us in the neighborhood and ask all the people out there, all the dope boys, all the ones who drug dealers and stuff like that, man, what all you little bad youngins at? Where the youngins at that can fight? They be out here rumbling. Man, you know somebody want to make some money, man? And they'll line them up. It'll be about 15, 20 kids outside just to try to spar. And everybody that sparred, my father would give them some money, just so we can get a little bit of work in to get ready for these tournaments, you know. So we got it all the way from the dirt. A lot of people that want that elaborate life and stuff like that, it was never that fun.
You know, one of the things that was talked about before was your father's open door policy in the basement. Talk about that.
Oh yeah, man. And it's funny, like I say, a lot of people want this elaborate training places and stuff to work out at, the new modern equipment and all that. We ain't need none of that. We won multiple tournaments training in the basement of our house. You know, we had a heavy bag down there, but the work ethic and the teaching, you know, the basic fundamentals and the well-tuning of the sweet science was all that we needed. We didn't need all the extra smokes and mirrors and the glamour, you know, and it kept us rooted all the way down to this day, you know. And I think it was crazy to be able to win tournaments just training out of the basement of your house. I know you used to drive my mother crazy because we had the heavy bag mounted to the beam. So whenever we hit the heavy bag, if you was upstairs watching TV, the whole floor was shaking and everything else, you know. But that's where it started from. That's where it came from. You know, that's something you can never forget.
Now, you went to Dunbar High School?
Briefly. Yeah, it's like real slight.
Oh, okay. Because I'm a graduate of Dunbar, class of 90. So yeah, you know, I heard about
Southside. Brief, you know, I went to Walker Jones, went to Terrell, you know, and then in the time of that, I ended up moving. We ended up relocating to Maryland, and then I ended up going to Sudan. But Dunn was where it all started at.
What was the deciding factor, you know, with your father wanting to leave the Trinidad neighborhood? Was it because of the situation where it was starting to get bad? Because, you know, during that time, that was during the murder capital years, you know, with Rayful Edmond, and during that time.
Yeah, you know, my father was all in the mix to a certain extent. You know, we could move around wherever we wanted freely, never had an issue, never had a problem. We was always men at the end of the day. Inside and outside of the square, we was always respected. It's known as stand up, man. We'll give our last, you know, to anyone that needed it, but can't nobody take nothing from us. You know, that's just a certain code and morals that we live by. It's a principle that's just always embedded. I can see it even into my babies. My baby's only 5 or 6 years old, but that DNA, that bloodline, it just flows so strong. No, I think it was just a time for us to just relocate. I think the area in which, you know, we personally wasn't living in the Trinidad area. We lived in Northwest. I lived over by right across the street from Dunbar. We was in Northwest off New Jersey Avenue. But Trinidad and that whole little area was like a second home to us. That's where my older brother lived at. That's where we spent a lot of time at. We was always over there at the National Arena. That's where we went jogging at and so forth, you know. But we wanted to actually relocate and give us a better opportunity of life. Everything that was coming from the area at the time is, you know, crime, drugs, and everything else. My father seen that I was very, very aggressive, and it was something that needed to be targeted and channeled, and he focused on boxing. It was a perfect outlet for somebody like me.
Now, was one of the deciding factors with your father was to leave the area? Was it during the time of the loss of your brother Devon, when he was murdered at 17?
I think he was already having plans on leaving out of the area at the time. Devon was the one that was living there, and we was in the process of moving him from there. We was actually about to send him out of town with a good friend of mine, and it was crazy. He's supposed to went out of town the following week. You know, we actually buried him with his plane ticket in his pocket because we already had the ticket and everything available. We kind of seen it coming because just the area in itself, it was just turmoil to a certain extent. You know, it was just a matter of time before you got caught up in something. And my father tried his best to keep us rooted and grounded and away from everything that goes on, but you can't save everybody.
One of the questions I always had, I don't know if you ever answered that with anybody, what was the significance behind your father naming you all Gary Russell, but you know, with the different middle names?
I mean, I think that's just his bloodline. That's his bloodline, that's his DNA. It's something that him and my mother personally went through. I think they came up with a decision that if it was a boy, he got the name of him, and if it was a girl, she got the name. But he kept having boys, and for, if you want to call it lack of creativity or what, he named everyone Gary. And I think one of the reasons for that is, when you have daughters, you know, you can still give them your name, but your name really don't get passed on with your daughters. Because realistically speaking, if it was to get married or something like that, they'll drop that name, and that name changes. You know, you can't really pass on your lineage or your heritage unless it's really through a seed, through a son. You know, so I think that's one of the reasons why he named everyone exact as him. You know, he wanted his name to continue to live on. We definitely gonna keep pushing it.
Now, one of the biggest things is four of you all national Golden Glove champions.
That's right.
You know, for the longest it was held by, I forgot it was three brothers.
It was three brothers.
For like 90 years or something like that.
Like
Do you think,
years.
and now you currently, the Russells currently hold that record. Do you think that will ever be surpassed?
Man, I don't got nobody breaking that. And if they do, it won't be no time soon. It won't be no time soon. It was a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of sacrificing collectively. You know, collectively to be able to do that. And it goes to show the pedigree in which is the training and teaching is done. You know, a lot of these coaches that has fighters, they have fighters that's already been somewhat groomed or somewhat put together. With me and my young brothers, it was all pure, it was raw. Nothing, everything was completely untouched. The only person that's been molded in anything was my father. You know, for him to make 2 Olympians, a world champion, you know, and 4 young men to be able to win the national Golden Gloves at the elite level speaks volumes on, you know, just his training aspect in itself, you know. For all 4 of them to be able to do that, you know, just to become an Olympian within itself is just a fake. You know, make it happen twice, I don't know, man. Something going on. They got something going on over there.
You know, because that's interesting because, you know, I had a chance to speak with referee Brent Bavell the other day, and one of the main things he talked about, he said, you a bad boy when you go to the nationals because you face the best of the best. It's not like when you first start out, when you know, he hears a professional fighter say I'm 5-0. That doesn't, he said, for him that doesn't really mean much because you can pick and choose your fights. He said, but when you go to those national Golden Gloves, you are fighting the best of the best.
Of the best of the best. You know, it's a perfect way to weed out the weak, and only the strong will survive. And I got addicted to it.
You know, at the age of 16, you won both the U.S. Championship and Golden Gloves in 2005. You became one of only 2 boxers to win both before your 17th birthday. Did you know that?
I didn't know that until like an article came out like a little time after that actually occurred. I didn't know that. Um, I did know that I was one of only a few boxers that fighting in the U.S. No, not the U.S. Championships, the Olympic trials. I lost my very first fight in the Olympic trials, and it's a double elimination. And I had to win 6 straight in order to qualify to make the Olympic team. It was only a few fighters that was ever able to do that. Floyd Mayweather, I think
Roy Jones Jr.
Evander Holyfield, me, and then my younger brother actually done it.
Yes,
And my
correct.
younger brother done it as well, you know. So that's crazy to be able to be mentioned in the same token as these other guys, you know, and to see some of the footsteps that they went through, and for us to go through the same doorway, same passageway, just with our own different type of personality, you know, our own little personal twist to it.
Yeah, I want to talk about, you know, in 2005, the World Championships, you won the bronze medal at 17 and was named the 2005 USA Boxing Athlete of the Year. Talk about the quest for the Olympics and the loss to the Russian Sergey. You know, you talked about in the experience also a situation where you had the Olympic Village, losing consciousness in your room. Talk about that.
Well, a lot of people really didn't know what was going on. They put pieces of whatever they thought they might have heard. It's like the telephone effect. You ever played the game telephone in school? when one person says something, and by the time we get around the room, it's something completely different. You know, that was something that pretty came up with me being in the Olympics. The weather and stuff in China was so polluted that the government was literally shooting chemicals in the air to try to like purify the air quality and stuff over there. Like you literally couldn't see from here to across the street, a building across the street, because it was so much smog and stuff that was there. I wasn't the only person that it happened to, but they thought that it was only happening to people that were doing the outdoor events. Someone for the track and field, one of the coaches for track and field, they had like passed out. Someone that did like soccer or something. Mind you, we was at the Olympic Village for about a month or so before the games had even started. And I guess because of the quality of the air was so bad that it was affecting people differently. It got to the point that everyone that was over there that had the outdoor event, they made it aware as though that they had to start practicing indoors because the pollution and stuff was so bad. When it was the day of the roster weigh-in. There wasn't a weigh-in where as though we all had to make weight. It was just a show up, weigh in, let's check to make sure everyone that's supposed to be in this weight division is here. It was one of those type of things. I felt lightheaded. I got a little dizzy. I sat down and I kind of went in and out for a split second. And in the process of it, the team, they left, went and did the actual roster weigh-in. I was still, a little under it. I didn't get a chance to go to the roster weigh-in. I was disqualified because of that.
One of the things you talk about, I want to make sure this is true, that you never really wanted to be a pro, that you wanted to get that gold. But you said because of that situation, that's what made you decide to go to get that championship.
Correct. You're absolutely correct. I mean, leading up to the Olympics, when I fought and won the world, the bronze medal in the World Games, I competed against one of the guys that won, that medaled in one of the previous Olympics. Already beat this guy, so I was definitely a favorite, to medal in the next Olympic Games, in the '08 Games. And for me not to compete, I had so much support and love from people just from all over. It was just a dream of mine, a goal of mine. My goal was to become an Olympian, and I seen all the support, all the effort and everything from the people that genuinely just loved my work. And I felt like it was in vain because I didn't get a chance to compete. It was at that point that I said, your support and your love would not go in vain. I need you guys to understand I'll make it up to you by becoming a world champion. It was then when I said, that's the only way I can make it up. I gotta become a world champion. I gotta get it. I got y'all.
I wanted to get your thoughts on this. with the rule changes with no headgear among the amateurs, you might have fighters fighting 3 fights in a tournament where you won't have a professional. Once he has a fight, he has to take time off. What are your thoughts on that, where you might not have the best of the best? If he occurs with a cut, he can't go that next day to fight.
I think this shit is crazy.
Will it change?
I mean, I honestly don't know. I don't know if it'll change for the better or for the worse. I think it's ridiculous because you do have these children, these young men and young women that's trying to compete. And like you say, head bumps occur, it happens. You'll have someone that will actually go out there and win the fight, win his right to complete, but because he got cut, an accidental cut has occurred, now he has a medical and he can't compete the following night. I think that is the most craziest thing ever. It puts the amateurs under a certain amount of pressure that I feel that they should be going through at this point in their career. If they're going to be going through that, they might as well turn pro. You know, you're going to see a lot of these amateur guys willing to turn pro than to stay amateur because you're already taking the headgear off. You're taking the headgears off these kids. They're not generating any revenue, but they're still taking all the risks. I don't understand that concept. Not dealing with the babies anyway.
Almost like the AAU concept.
Right.
They're getting paid
Right.
while you know the athletes aren't. So
Yep. And they're getting injuries and stuff like that occur. Injuries occur, you know, and that stuff can make or break you, especially early in your career. You had a lot of these guys that got cuts and got scar tissue and they're amateurs. By the time they turn a professional, if they get touched with something slight, that slight cut that they had back when, because the scar tissue is built up and it's so weak that it's going to bust open. They're going to be pretty much damaged goods in the professional line.
That's interesting you say that, because I had a chance to speak with Mr. Umar McDowell. He talked about that, the scar tissues and stuff, and he said exactly what you said. Once they get to professionals, you touch, it's open up.
Mm-hmm.
So to put a young fighter through that type of predicament, it isn't right, and they should have to change those rule policies.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree, you know, but it's a high power that's controlling the things, and they want to control it the way that they want to. I personally don't agree with it. I'm glad that my younger brothers are to the point now that they are competing professionally, because if they was an amateur, they wouldn't be competing in any of the tournaments where you didn't have to wear a headgear. Anything they would compete in, they would be competing where it was mandatory for them to wear headgear. If they're going to take the headgear off, they need to be getting properly compensated for it.
Now, one of the things she talked about was you didn't want to fight at home until you won a championship.
That's right.
A world title. And, you know, and one of the things I saw an interview with your father talking about the lack of support in the DC area, not the area, but I guess the DC boxing scene, support for one another. Do you see that?
I do see the lack of support, but I also do see a new wave. You know, I do see a new wave, you know, when it comes to a lot of these people got crab in the barrel syndrome. You know, I don't understand the Willie Lynch syndrome to a certain extent. You know, they just have to see someone, just have to find something negative to say about something or somebody or something. I don't understand the concept. But you got your good in your bag. You know, you wouldn't know what good is unless you had a little bit of bag. You know, so I'm cool with it. I think we getting the support that we want is from the area. You know, I'm one of the only guys that's really from the area and supporting us and holding us down the way that we should, inside as well as outside of the ring. I feel as though I'm a great role model for any of the younger children that's coming up, that's looking up, that want to do something, you know, productive with their life, with their career, and anything, you know. So I think we getting the support. You get a little bit of negativity here and there, but that's nothing. I don't know about that.
Yeah, got to get into this. Talking about the politics of boxing and your frustration in getting that fight with Leo Santa Cruz. Do you think that would ever come about? You know, because you know with Leo, he named his son after Al Wavy. You know, it's crazy that
It goes to show you the politics, man. I mean, I think it's something that can definitely come to fruition. within the maybe next fight or so. I don't plan on staying at 26. I plan on moving up in weight. Definitely plan on moving up in weight. But I want Leo before moving up. It only makes sense. He's in the weight division in which that I'm in. It doesn't make sense to move up and compete just to come back down and compete. And I don't understand this. I don't want to hustle backwards. So come on, bring that ass on. Come deal with it. You already dealt with me in the U.S. Championships. The reason why I was a 2008 Olympian and Leo Santa Cruz wasn't was because I beat that ass real good in the finals and the U.S. Championship to qualify you for the U.S. for the Olympic trials. He couldn't even make it to the Olympic trials because he couldn't get past me. My game has evolved so much better than what it has than it was back when. I think Leo is the same fighter in which that he was. He's a rock'em sock'em robot. He just want to go in there and throw punches. I think he's scared for real. I think they're scared for real. I don't think they really want no work.
No, I just said it earlier in the introduction. You're the longest reigning WBC world champion,
right.
and also been a free agent for the past 3 years. Does that make it difficult to get the fights you want?
Man, I think it does make a difference to a certain extent. I'm cool with it because I like the flexibility to be able to move how I want and when I want. I don't like to be held down or restricted. A lot of people don't have economic freedom in this world, and they don't have the ability to make the moves and be in control of their own destiny. I'm one of the ones that want to keep my hands on the steering wheel when it comes to me driving and navigating the vehicle in which that I'm in. But I have a great business relationship with the people that I do work with. I'm not signed with any management team. I'm not signed with any promotional team, nor am I logged in with any network. So we have the ability to fluctuate. If a network was to come to me and say, hey, Gary, we're willing to offer you such and such to be solely on this particular network, we have the possibility to explore that avenue if we want to. If a promoter or manager wanted to come out and talk and do business about me signing with them for a 2-fight deal, 3-fight deal, etc., we have the flexibility to be able to do so without having to ask questions from anyone else. You know,
one of the biggest things you talk about is intellect over athleticism.
That's right.
Explain that to people, because you talk about that very much so often.
You have good athletes, and I'm gonna give you a little break on what I mean. You have some people that win fights off of pure athleticism, meaning they're faster, they're stronger, they hit harder, they're in more shape, they're just in more shape, or they just got more tenacity and more dog than the individual that they're fighting. They're not, that's what they're using to win. I'm gonna get in shape, I'm gonna be as much shape as I can, I'm gonna throw as many punches as I can, I know I hit hard, I'm gonna hit as hard as I can. This is what people is using to winning, not actual intellect. Intellect is having the ability that no matter how motherfucking in shape you think you are, or how motherfucking, in shape you think you're going to, I have the mental capacity to make the necessary adjustments to whatever style, form, or fashion in which that you want to bring my way. I have the ability to adapt and be equally as effective and take away whatever it is that you want to do. That's the difference. Just because someone is bigger or stronger doesn't mean that you should win. In most cases, the more intelligent person who should win. Not the biggest, not the fastest, not the strongest. It's the most intelligent. Marcus of Queensbury means to hit and not get hit. All right, it doesn't matter how hard you hit if you can't really hit a person. So that's something that makes a lot of these guys are one-dimensional. I don't care what your profession is, what your occupation is. In order for you to be great at your occupation, you have to be versatile. You have to have the ability to get the job done or to get the objective done in multiple different ways, not just one. You can't just be real good at doing it one way, and that's the only way you know how to do. So what happens when this motherfucking way don't work? Something got to change. Now you like a fish out of water. You in complete quicksand. You're in unfamiliar territory. I create those moments when I fight people. I put people in unfamiliar territory because they don't have the ability to adapt and make the adjustment to what I do, to what I bring. Intellect over athleticism.
Where did the nickname boogeyman come from?
The boogeyman. Everybody's scared to fight me. Don't nobody want to fight me. They say I'm fighting once a year, this, that, and the third. They want to say that. Ask the people why I fight once a year. Because none of these other world champions, none of these other dudes who they say supposed to be nice or this, that, and the third, none of them would have stepped in the ring and fight me. I'm one of the most intellectual fighters that there is right now competing, period, hands down. Nobody in the sport of boxing is hitting nobody with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 punch combination, still in position to attack and defend at the exact same time, simultaneously, and make the necessary adjustments to whatever it is that the person is doing at the drop of a dime. No one in the game is doing that but me.
Do you feel you're an old school fighter that you wish you would have came up with that Sugar Ray Leonard era?
I think the old school fighters are much more tough than the fighters to this day.
It's very different than, I grew up on the Wild World Sports, coming on TV. You saw all the big fights, and you saw a Sugar Ray lose, but he came back with a rematch. It seemed like now you have that Floyd factor of with the young fighters, they don't want to get a loss, so
They don't want to take no fights. They suckers. They scared. Oh, I ain't gonna fight. I don't want to fight him right now. I don't feel like I'm ready. You a champion. What type of shit is that for a champion to say? I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, boxing is what I do. It's not who I am as an individual. I'm a old man, but outside these squares and inside there. I love the sport of boxing because it's a fetish of mine. I love to be able to completely dismantle a person and take away everything that they thought they can do. You doing nothing but preparing for nobody else but me. That's it. All I gotta do is prepare for him. How much time I got? 8 weeks? 10 weeks? Oh, I'm gonna do whatever I want. I love being able to mentally break a person in a square. Fuck physically breaking them. That's gonna come because the body gonna fall anyway. But to mentally and psychologically break a person in the square, for them to try to bring their best shit and for me to shut it down, effortlessly, for me to touch you at will, whenever I want to. I don't care what you think your defense is or whatever, for me to be able to touch you at will whenever I want. For me to hurt you and realize that I'm hurting you. For me to create these moments in a fight and mentally watch your confidence and all the stuff that you done worked on in the gym. I just see it just melt. I see it all in your face. I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in your body language when you walk back to the corner and I'm looking at you in your corner. I love watching the other corner panic. I love being able to create that level of fear in the individual. It does something to me. It's the perfect sport for me. It was no plan B. I had to make this work.
Now, I want to go back to this. Let's talk about the only loss on your record, the split decision to Vassily Lomachenko.
That's right.
I want you to explain what happened with that, because let's talk about your decision to get a conditional strength coach for that fight, and talk about that process of having to lose 7 pounds the day before.
Nah, it wasn't 7. It wasn't 7. It was more less than that.
Okay.
But first of all, let's keep this all the way 100. Anybody, you can't take away from Lomachenko for what he did in the amateur. But nobody knew who the hell Lomachenko was so he fought Mr. Gary Russell Jones. That's fact. That's hands down, point blank period. He lost to fucking Salido. I don't take nothing from Salido, but he's a typical slow, flat-footed Mexican, but he got enough in him but heart and big kahunas, and he gonna keep coming. But that's a one-dimensional fighter. I feel as though intellect is something that's supposed to make that fight very, very easy. Lomachenko got a gift. He lucky, and he know he lucky. Like I say, we cut weight, getting ready for a fight. I leading it up to the fight, going there. I knew I was a pound over on the scale in which that we had. A pound is nothing, you can go to sleep and sleep off a pound, to be honest with you. And got on the actual trial scale, that scale was 5 pounds heavier than the scale that we got on. So now I'm like 6.5 pounds, 6 pounds over. We gotta lose this weight. I could have, now that I'm thinking about it, I could have just took the fine and fought, not cut the weight, but even if I would have won, I wouldn't have got the title, but I wouldn't have got the law. Regardless of the fact, we cut the weight. I lost it all in the sauna. 45 minutes in the sauna, 5 minutes out, another 15, 20 minutes in the sauna, 5 minutes out, dry off, and we continue to repeat the cycle until we got this weight. Until we got the weight, you know. And when you hear people talking about a mirage, normally when you hear people talking about having a mirage or something like that, is when they're in the desert. You know, when it's real hot and you lose all the fluid out your body and all that. In that particular fight, I remember coming back to the corner in the first round. I was completely tired. I lost everything I had in the ring. The speed, the power, none of that was relevant in that particular fight. You know, people that watched the fight, they could clearly see something. Hey, he ain't all the way right. He's sick and tired. What's the situation? In that particular fight, my sense of distance and range was off. Meaning, he would be about where the camera was, but because of me cutting so much weight and apparently losing fluid from the brain and everything else, that my sense of distance was off, and I couldn't actually be able to realize if he was closer or gauge how close he was when it came to me throwing punches. It's crazy, right?
You know, going back to that, was that the first time you used a strength and conditioning coach? Because you said after that you did. Why did you use one during that time?
I follow instructions. I just keep it moving. I personally don't feel as though I need one, but that's just what it was. We made it happen. It is what it is. We ain't gonna cry over spilled milk. But a lesson that I did learn from it is if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I know you would love to have that. Yes, but why you think he does not? He'll say other fighters' names, but your name does not come up.
Because they have a level of understanding what it is. None of these fighters really say my name. That's where the boogeyman comes from. I'm not playing with nothing smoking. I don't really say too much about none of the other fighters, but I'm one of the guys that's in the amateurs. All these guys that you know that's competing right now, the Keith Thurman, the Sean Porters, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We all came up in the same era. You can ask any one of them individually. I was always the number one dog. I was always the number one seed. Every tournament that we competed in, I was always the number one. These other guys that's reigning now, these were the guys, they kind of always went back and forth and alternated who was the number one seed. That was never the case with me. I always dominated all the way around the board.
Now, one of the things your father talked about was 5 fights. He wanted 5 fights left for you. Do you feel how many fights you have left in? Do you feel?
I mean, it depends. It depends. He's saying 5 fights because he feels as though at that point we should be able to just chill and lay back. But I'm not sure. You know, I've been competing for a very long time. It's a couple fights that I definitely want to make happen before the conclusion of my career, for sure. I definitely would love to get this Leo Santa Cruz fight. I would love a Devontae Davis fight. And I definitely love a Lomachenko fight.
You know, going back to that viral video that you did with Gilly the Kid, was it a lot of pent-up frustration during that time when it came out? When you,
no pent-up.
What's the situation with that? Where you know, with you and Tank like that?
Ain't no situation. You know, I'm just to the point in my career now. Anything that's in or anywhere near my division, I want them. It's just that simple. Ain't nothing personal. Ain't nothing. You just came up at the wrong time and the wrong era, and ain't nobody exempt. If your last name ain't Russell and you in my weight class or you around my weight class, bring that ass to me. We're gonna make it happen or get the fuck out the way.
Now, going back to Leo Santa Cruz, if you're unable to get that unification, will you relinquish and then decide to move up?
I move up. And even then,
that's an interesting situation because he mentions Tank's name, but your name will not come up.
of course, I mean, you gotta pay attention. People gotta be able to read between the lines. I'm telling you, man, Leo the Duck, man, he vicious. Man, Leo the Duck, a bad boy. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Now, one of the things you talked about, if that fight could happen with you and Tank, having that at the FedEx, but you know that's more over on the DMV side. Do you think that could really act? That probably would have to be up in the Barclays, up in New York, just to get away from the area, right?
Man, look, we can have that joint at the Redskins Stadium. Everybody can get there. And the Redskins Stadium holds more than the Barclays. And we'll do good numbers. Everybody in their mother would want to see that jump. Why not make it happen? You know what I'm saying? Why not? I mean, I think it's cool that he's a youngin' that I seen come up and stay diligent and continue to push, you know, and make a name in the sport and put himself in a position to get a certain financial stability for himself and his family and his, you know, that's what's up. That's I'm a completely unselfish person. I'm the type of person that I would want that from anyone, you know. Unfortunately, I'm just a little too close for comfort, y'all, to come see me. You right around. They saying you supposed to be all this and all that. Oh nah, come see me. Let's make it happen. Don't talk about me being 126. I don't care about me being 126 because you were just about to fight Abner Mars, who's 126. And actually, he moved up from 122 to be 126. And now he's going to move up again. So you really about to fight a real little person who's going to move up in weight. But now you saying, well, Gary's only at 26. I ain't trying to hear none of that. I ain't trying to hear what Floyd got to say. I ain't trying none of that. We can meet at the catchweight for all I care. Don't know. Ghost got to be put up. He don't got to put his belt. I don't got to put my belt up. That's just the fight that the fans themselves want to see, and we'll still generate revenue, whether title's on the line or not. Let's make it happen.
That's why I said you remind me of an old school fighter.
Let's make it happen. I'm a dog. A rock of these dudes, understand this. I'm gonna give you get some raw footage right here. A rock of these dudes, a rock of guys that's boxing, started boxing because someone bullied them or they need a little more self-confidence and something like that. It's the complete opposite. I started fighting because I was an animal as a little child and was wreaking havoc in school and everywhere else. And my father said, hold up, man. We're going to have to target this because Shorty got too much aggression. So let me put it in something where though he can actually channel it and thus you get all of the accolades and which that you get, and etc. I didn't do this to try to help build anything for myself. This was something to keep me away from everything. You know, so it's a whole nother monster on this end. You know, so.
Honestly, what do you think the likelihood of that to happen? Because, you know, I'm just saying from the Gervonta Tank Davis point of view, they're talking about Tevin Farmer before the year out. And the next mention was Lomachenko. What does that leave with Gary Russell Jr. in that whole mix?
I mean, I'm not sure, but like I said, I can tell you one thing: ain't nobody in the rush to fight Gary Russell Jr. How many people you see saying they want to fight me?
I have not. I've looked for it. I have not seen it.
How many people you see saying they want to fight him? You'll see Lomachenko say he want to fight him. He was a world champion, and he made a statement. I'm not ready to fight him. He made that statement about a year or so ago. What the fuck type of shit is that for a world champion to say? You are a world champion. This is the biggest stage in which that you can develop. But you mean to tell me that even though you're a world champion, you're willing to say that you're not ready to fight somebody else? I don't understand that. That's weak to me. That's weak to me. I'm not with it. I see a kink in your flaws. I see a kink in your armor. I think your slip might be shown. You know what I'm saying? Like that don't make sense to me. That don't make sense to me. I'm welcoming all challengers, all comers. I'm not playing with nothing smoking. I stay in the gym consistently. This is something that I love to do. I really like to do this shit. Like, I love my job. I enjoy my occupation. I get a fetish from it. If I get upset or frustrated with my everyday life, guess what? I come to the gym and work out. I don't go and smoke me some weed or go drink me some liquor and gain and blow up and gain about 40 pounds and have to lose about 35 pounds before the training camp, you know, and all this and all that. I don't do none of that. I'm true to what it is that I do. I'm a connoisseur of what it is that I am. I'm completely full with everything that it takes to be a ultimate predator in this sport.
You know, I had a chance to speak with Leonard Ellaby, and he said he felt that Tank was the cash cow from 126 to 135, and that's why people calling him out. But you just recently said money doesn't matter to you about that.
Say that one more time.
I had a chance to interview Mr. Leonard Ellaby, and he said that Gervonta Tank Davis was the cash cow.
He was the cash cow?
No, he is. I'm sorry, he is the cash cow from 126 to 135. And that's why people are calling him out.
It could have some relevancy to it, but I can tell you this much. He ain't generating the revenue that people think he's generating because when Floyd Mayweather fought Conor McGregor, now, Tank was the main event, was the co-main event fight, correct?
Correct.
That card itself grossed over $1 billion. He didn't even make $1 million for that fight. You know, so this is some of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes that people don't know. People paying attention to Floyd. Floyd ain't gonna get in there and take that ass whooping for him. So send him on over to me. He can come and throw all the little hard punches all he want. It ain't gonna land. You're not gonna hit nothing. And then I'm gonna touch you at will whenever I want. You can be frustrated and you get reckless and you run into this hard shit in the back end. So shit might go ugly. So it's a possibility that they might not take the fight. There's a possibility they might not take that fight, and I can understand. I wouldn't even get mad at them because I truly understand that at the end of the day, it's a business, and you want to make the best decisions and the best choices as possible, you know, to succeed. We get paid based upon our ability to produce. Their chances to produce is very slim when they just look across the ring and understand the type of animal which they're dealing with. People fail to realize a lot of these dudes pick and choose who they fight. They picking and choosing. Everybody who I've been competing against is all the people that none of the other champions wanted to fight. Nobody wanted to fight JoJo Diaz. They was ducking short. I like JoJo. I personally like JoJo Diaz because he's a young fighter. He knew what he was up against, and he was willing to give it everything that he had. He wasn't afraid. He was willing to fight. He came to fight. He gave it everything he got. His best wasn't good enough, but I applaud him and I take my hat off to him, you know, because he was willing to try. Half of these dudes not even willing to step in the ring. Half of them gonna act like a Leo Santa Cruz and hide up under a rock, go fight a cold bomb, or like Gervonta, fight a cab driver and just put a name on him or something like that. I'm not understanding.
No, just think about. Again, going back to the old school fighters, you know, who had those legendary fights, the Hagler Hearns. Will it be harder in this day and time because of the situation that boxing is in right now?
I mean, I think it might be a little harder. I think the fighters have a black eye being ignorant when it comes to the concept of the sport, of business, and I think that's what's taking over to this day. You know, even just like the NBA players. I think it's crazy that why won't all the NBA players, you know, the people that own the NBA players, that own the teams are making more money than the players. But people are paying to see the players. So why won't the players themselves say, you know what, let's just sit on out, let's take the money that we have and let's buy into this network, let's do this, and now we can control all the revenue. Because at the end of the day, we're the reason why everything is moving on. Everything rotates around us, not the promoters, not the managers, not none of that other stuff. We are the reasons why everything goes down and takes place. You want to see us, not the managers, the promoters, etc. When the fighters understand that and understand their true power and their worth, and really know their worth, then you might see a lot of these fights happen. You know, but as of now, a lot of the promoters and managers, they pulling the strings behind the scenes, you know, and they making certain fights happen that really shouldn't happen, or not letting fights happen that really should happen. So there's just a lot that goes on.
I go back to the high school athletes, are going to the big universities, and most of these universities were birthed out of the backs of the slave movement. Georgetown, for example, where they had to recently apologize for that.
That's right.
So, if you know your
goes into a lot of people who are ignorant to their history. You know, you'll be surprised. A lot of people have been taught something completely incorrect, and when you have someone that's older and stuck in their ways, it's difficult for them to unlearn something, or they'll be unwilling or not acceptive to be open-minded enough to unlearn something that they've learned that was incorrect in the first place. You know, so I think that's the wild part. That once again, that goes into versatility. You know, and it's not just into the sport of boxing. That's into everyday life. You should be able to have a level of versatility in your thought process, in the way you think, in the way you act, in the way you move and excel. Everything plays a part, and a lot of people are one-dimensional.
You know, a lot of us don't know our own history also as well. And one of the things you talk about is I do it for the melanin, our people, our culture.
Yeah.
And people don't.
Everybody's saying they doing it for the culture. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm not trying to jump on no bandwagon or saying, I do it for the culture. This, that, and third. I do it for our people. I do it for people of melanated descent. You know, when everyone else, embrace their ethnicity, it's okay. But when someone of melanin descent embrace their ethnicity, then it's militant or something else, and etc. I don't care about none of it. They can miss me with all the bullshit. I'm all the way thorough, all the way around the world. My yes mean yes, my no mean no. I mean what I say what I mean. If I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. It's just that simple, And I stand on what I believe in. I don't care what it is. If I believe in it, I'm going to stand on it all the way to the end.
And I totally 100% agree with that. I go back to something that actually kind of shocked me was, I think it was Eddie Hearn's father had made the comment, during my time it was slave labor contracts, and now I have to say Mr. Dylan White. I was actually thrown off when I seen that Dylan White didn't speak up for himself at that moment in time, or maybe he was thrown off by being in the situation of the light.
Listen, have to do something. Ain't no man, not no real man, is gonna allow somebody to degrade them or belittle them in no type of way without at least trying to stand up for themselves. I completely disagree with that. I completely disagree with that. I'm against them, 110%. I think that it's crazy that he even would say that, but it goes to show you the mentality and the mindset that the managers and promoters and the people that's really in charge or that's pulling the strings on the sport look at the people that's in the sport, and we're the ones that's generating all the revenue in the first place. They know.
Basically, they just want you to shut up and fight.
Shut up and fight. Don't ask for nothing. Don't do this. You're not gonna get that from me. You're not gonna get that from none of my younger brothers. Don't expect to do business with me. If you're gonna do business with me, do it accordingly. Because we just as thorough as we are in that square, that's just as thorough as I am outside of it. So we can handle it accordingly. We can be very versatile as well.
I want to go back to your last fight with the ring walk. With Quasi Davis leading the way.
Yeah, my little man.
In our city, go-go is our music. It comes from our culture going back to Africa with the beating of the drums.
That's right.
That's right. And we different in DC. It's different.
Yeah.
They
doing everything in their power to try to do something to mess with it now.
Yeah, don't mute DC.
Yeah. Yeah. It ain't the same DC like it used to.
It definitely is not.
It ain't the same DC like it used to.
It used to be Chocolate City, but man, it's changed so much. And you know, pushing all the people out of the city with no affordable housing, closing most of the
no affordable housing, no, not really metro accessible and stuff like that. You know, these are all the things that make a difference. You know, but it's a method to the madness. You know, I'm pretty sure it's definitely a method to the madness. The reason why they're doing it. It's a word for it, and it's called gentrification, and it's in full effect. It's in full effect.
You know, one of my signature questions I always like to ask is, what is the toughest thing that you've been through in your life, and how do you overcome it? For those who might be going through life struggles and trials and tribulations, just to give them a little bit of inspiration and hope on how you made it through one of your toughest times in your life.
Man, you gotta balance everything with full progression. Balance everything with full progression. That's something that I definitely do. And what I mean by that is, if I'm going through something, I mean, I don't care what it is. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I love my wife to death. That's my baby, that's my heart. I never understood when people used to say, well, that's my better half, or this, that, and the third. You know, when I married my wife, I learned more about myself than I learned about my wife because of the things in which that we went through. She taught me, you know, but even if me and my wife have a disagreement, I'm going to combat it with full progression. If I get upset or frustrated, I'm going to come to the gym. I'm going to work out. It might be 2, 3 in the morning. But guess what? Me and my dog, we're going to be in the gym, we're going to work out. I'm going to do something that's going to push me even further in the direction in which that I want to go. If I'm going through financial issues or something like that, I'm the type of person that'll say, you know what, damn. But let me take what it is that I got now and put it into something that's going to generate something. I might not see the return right now, but I'll see it a couple months down the line. You know, balance all of your adversity with full progression. You know, put something, if something is going on in life that ain't all the way right, take that time out, that time. A lot of guys, there it goes, like I say, like people, I ain't gonna mention no names, though. I ain't even gonna say nothing, but some people, you know, they, like I say, they drink, they might smoke, gain about 30 pounds, you know what I'm saying, 40 pounds before a fight, etc. I don't know, but you gotta balance that. Target it. You know, whatever it is that you're trying to do, if you're trying to go to school and get the grades up, whatever, if something going wrong in life and things going on, you need a mental break, take that same type of energy and channel it into the work in which that you need to do. Take that time out and be frustrated and get the work in that you need to get into to get you closer to the destination that you want to be. You have to create balance. A lot of people will get in a messed up situation and they, oh man, I'm so mad and so down, and they'll go get something to drink or something like that and put themselves in an even deeper hole. You know, so I don't see any forward progression. I don't see any growth from that. You have to create balance. Whatever the adversity is that goes on, create balance. Find something that's going to create forward progression for you. Find something that focuses that energy and channel it into that.
You know, today is Nipsey Hussle's birthday. He was big on community involvement. You also talk about community involvement and doing things in the community. Talk about the stuff that you're doing in the community right now.
Yeah, well, I just actually did something not too long ago. Called the Girl Russell Day. We got a lot of vendors. We got a lot of people. I'm big on supporting your own. I'm big on supporting your own people. Us as melanated people, statistically shows that when we get our money, when we get paid, etc.,
those are other communities.
It goes to other communities. It goes somewhere else, or it immediately goes to another culture or another race or something like that. You know, I read this thing, and it broke down the different races, and it broke down that a Chinese person, when they get their money, it takes like 12 days before they will spend their money. And a Caucasian person, it takes them 10 days before they spend their money. And it kept breaking down, and it went down to Afro-American. And they said that we'll spend our money within an hour of us receiving our money. thought that was insane. We're the most consumer-based people on the planet. We own nothing and we buy everything. I'm a believer that we have to break that cycle. We have to invest into ourselves. Every other race protect their ethnicity itself is a weapon to a certain extent. You go to
It's funny because when we have pride in ourselves, they look at it as a negative.
Yeah,
But we want to help our own people.
that's what I just said, you know. But if you look at it, let's go to the Chinese restaurants and stuff like that, or the place that do the nails and pedicures and all that. When it's time for them to go and hire someone, instead of them hiring someone out of their ethnic group, they'll hire someone within their ethnic group to help empower them. You know, I don't look at that as racist. I don't look at that as anything. I just look at them as them trying to empower their people as a whole. That's it, that's all. And that turns their ethnic group into somewhat of a weapon to a certain extent. So they're helping create economic balance within their unit. Our people don't do that. We have to learn to do that. We have to generate that. We have to take the time out to invest our revenue and money into our own people and tell everybody else.
Yeah, because for people that don't know, that's part of the Russell family. You know, you buy homes, fix them up.
Another thing that I disagree with is a lot of these holidays and all that. I completely disagree with. At least in my house, I disagree with. I think it makes people feel subconsciously obligated to go out here and spend money that they might not have, money they might need on their rent, money they might need to go and buy some food, money they might need to go put some gas in their car, money they might need to buy their babies some shoes, some clothes, and etc. But they'll feel subconsciously obligated to go out here and spend money. And the masses, the people that's really in charge, the people that runs these buildings and establishments and stuff, it's nothing but a day that they can bank on. They're gonna just rake in money. Valentine's Day, oh, we know they're gonna just we're gonna make a whole lot of money. Christmas, oh, we know we're gonna make a whole lot of money. Such Day, Mother's Day, we know we're gonna make a whole. But these are all things that we should be doing naturally. Why wait till one specific day to come out and generate all this money and revenue? I think our people as a whole, because we are so much of a consumer-based people, you know what I'm saying? We buy everything. If I would love for some of our people to start boycotting some of these things and to put the time and energy just into themselves. Then you don't gotta go and spend no money and put it out on Christmas and feel obligated to spend all this money on Christmas and all of this money on Easter and all this. Half the stuff that people believe in don't even know why they believe in the stuff in the first place. They just do it through repetition. I don't get that. I don't understand. Once again, intellect over athleticism. You know, I love to see people start boycotting a lot of these holidays and stuff like that. Keep their money in their own pocket. Hold on to your money as long as you can.
You see, a lot of our history is in those temples over in Egypt that can never be erased.
In Egypt, that they want to completely separate from Africa, which is a part of Africa. And the peoples that's populating the land in Egypt now aren't the indigenous people of that land. Those are some people that came over after the fact. We are the real indigenous people of Egypt with all of the technology from cameras to cell phones to computers to spaceships to one-man spacecrafts and all of the technology that we're using till today came from those pyramid wars.
Mathematics,
everything that our people, that our DNA, our bloodline created. We created, we birthed everything. That's why if you pay attention to any sport that there is, someone of melanin descent is dominating. Why is that? Because melanin is the intelligence. Melanin is the intelligence. We have a different. People say that's why we got swag. Swag is just a different form of energy. We have access to a different form of energy than other people or other races on this planet. Because of our melanin, it gives us energy so we can move different, we walk different, we talk different. We got a different level of swag. That's why we're the people that's down. I don't care what sport it is. Go look at any sport is someone in the melanin descent that's dominating. Basketball, football, whatever you want to call it.
You know,
Be associated, point blank person.
going back, I don't know if you remember this. This was years ago. Jimmy the Greek, when he had made that statement, you know, pretty much saying breeding, get a big black woman and a big black baby to produce a big black athlete.
That's realistically, that's what the movie Get Out was about. That's what that movie Get Out was about. You know, man, they have a level of understanding of the ability in which that we present. You know, a lot of it has been stolen and taken from us through slavery and been watered down and etc. For example, if you used to get a lion, right? A wild lion from out of the jungle. You bring him over here, or you take all the cubs. You take all the cubs and bring him over here. You don't let him hunt. You don't let him do that. Now you start hand feeding. You subconsciously take away that animal instinct that was there, that's supposed to be there. It's in there, but it has to be brought out in a certain type of way. They're not in their natural habitat. So they're not going to move and function the way which they normally would. That's what's happened to our people.
You know, I tell people all the time, you know, we were already here in America. You know, we were always traveling from Africa here pre-Columbus. We were here.
Yep.
So, you know,
it's the first European that came to the planet. That's it.
Man, you know, I really appreciate this talk, man. You know, I know it ain't for everybody.
It ain't for everybody, but I'm one of the ones that really don't even care. It could be for everybody. I stand on everything that I say. My yes mean yes, my no mean no. And if anybody got a problem with it, it doesn't mean nothing. You come to front of me and see.
Before we get out of here, what would you like for my audience to know about Gary Russell Jr.?
I'm one of the real ones, man. I'm one of the real ones. I ain't with the smokes and the mirrors. I don't want to be seen, want the limelight. A lot of people grind to be seen. Some people grind to disappear. I know what category I fall in. I ain't one of the ones who want to be seen. I want to genuinely be able to help my people out, provide a sense of mental stability and stimulation. You know, I want to be able to give information and insight to my people and help anyone out that I can all the way to the day I leave this planet.
Oh, before we get out, man, what's one of the best books you ever read?
I'm reading a book right now. I can't even think of the name of it. My friend just got it for me. I should. It's actually in the car. I can't think of the name of this book. I think it's Napoleon. It's written by Napoleon Hill, I believe. I think it's written by Napoleon Hill, and it just speaks about. It talks about being able to control your mental state. You know, I'm an energy person. You know what I'm saying? I believe that, or you hear people say, man, don't kill my vibe, and this, that, and the third. They're really talking about something. It's a vibration. It's a frequency that goes on. Somebody can walk past you and not say nothing at all, but you can just feel the energy of a person. Like, man, his vibe is all. That's a vibration. You can really feel frequency and read frequency without talking to a person. I believe that we do have the ability to communicate with people without having to talk. I believe we have the ability to do a lot of things. Really empty yourself of all of the stuff that society has just thrown onto you. I think, man, that's something that I really want people to take from it, man. You know, we're a really intellectual person. We spiritual people, man. What's up, bro? Spiritual people, man. I just want to be able to help people out all the way to the day I leave this planet. I prefer to mess with the babies all day in the paint. You'll see me at an amateur show way before you see me at a professional show.
You know, that's interesting. I love going to see the younger kids, man, because their heart is so pure with this sport.
Man. Yes, it is, man. It's so raw. It's not watered down by the politics. You know, none of that. You know, it's just raw. That's when it was the most fun. That's when it was the most fun, man. I'm telling you. The amateur. That's where you get all your experience from. Everything comes from it. Everybody wants the finished product, but they're not willing to put the work in to get to the finished product. Going through the amateurs is definitely a molding process. And I had a lot of fun in the amateurs. I traveled all over the world. I'm definitely a product of my environment. I'm a walking testament that you can do anything you put your mind to. Focus, stay tunnel vision, you just get it.
Hey man, best of luck to you, Mr. Gary Russell Jr. Man, I'm hoping you get those fights. I personally want to see these fights, man. I've been pushing for it, like, man,
everybody want to see the fight.
Because you want to see the best of the best.
Who doesn't? I know who don't. The managers and promoters. There may be some of these fighters too, but they ain't in the first jump out there.
Once again, I really appreciate your time on the ropes, man.
Yes. Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me. You in the dungeon. I know you hot. You keep it hot in here. I don't care.
You see I'm sweating.
Hey, look, I don't care what the temperature is outside. It's hot in here.
Yeah, but I appreciate it, man. I see a lot of people working hard in here. See young Jaleel over there.
Yeah. You about to get a little work.
Get a little work. I can get to check that out.
There, you know. Yeah, it's about to go down.
All right, man. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
We out.